the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and regards. This is Muhammad Sulaiman Ahmadzai, here with a new session for you, my friends. After defining it, and after discussing the differences, we'll move on to the ways of opening it. After that, we'll go over their interface, and if we have time, in the next video, we'll work on the lessons inside them. There are different ways to open them. Pin to start menu in the P category, in the app list under the P category. Here, we have both Photos and Photos Legacy. We open it by clicking on it. If we go and right-click on it, in this section, there's Pin to Start Menu, or we can also choose Pin to Taskbar for it. We can do the same thing with Legacy as well. In this section, Pin App either in the Pinned Apps section or in the Taskbar section, it will be pinned and added for us. If we don't want it anymore, then we select Unpinned from Taskbar for it. If we want, by dragging either or both, whichever we need, we can take a screenshot of them. Or if we want, we can assign a shortcut key for it, and we can right-click on it. Let's go to New and select Bitmap Image for it. What does it open for us when we double-click on it? It opens the photo viewer. But which photo viewer does it open? Does it open the Windows 2 photo viewer or the Windows 11 one? It can do that. What should we do next? We should adjust it in the settings, in the default app section, so that when I double click, if we don't double click, then nothing happens. But if we do double click, I can specify myself which app to open it with, or from here, I can say open with and choose which one to use. If I double click or just say open, then it decides by itself which app to use. How is that decision made? We can set that in two places. Either we go from this section, in the Open With section, we go here to choose another app. Here, I select the application. Then I say always use this app to open this type of file, and from then on, it will always open with that app. But there's another way too, and I'll explain it to you in a more user-friendly way. Or, for example, we can go to the search section. Here, for instance, we can type Photos or Photos Legacy. Okay, it brings up both of them for us. Whichever one we need, we can just double-click on it to open it. When we pin an app in the Pinned App section, it stays there. Here, we can see it shows us their size, and for some apps, we can't set different sizes. We had already covered this before in the Start section. These here, as you can see, are in the recent list, pictures that we've opened recently. If I double-click them again, they'll open up. We can pin some pictures, create pins, and also remove them from the Pin section if we want. In the Resize section, we can choose different sizes for it, from large to medium, small, and wire sizes. It shows the wire size like this. It's similar to how it shows the prime. Well, whichever one we select, it's up to us. We can choose from among thousands. I chose large, and for the sake of the gauge, we picked small. Next to Resize, we have something called More. In the More section, we have several options. We see Share, which lets us share. Rate, if we want to give it stars. We need to have internet access for that. We already worked on Pin to Taskbar earlier. It pins it to the taskbar for us. There are two other options, one called App Settings, and another one called Turn Live Tiles On. When this is on, instead of showing its icon, it shows us a picture. Whatever picture we've opened, it shows the last one we've opened. So whenever we go to the Start menu, it shows us either its own small icon or the pictures we've opened. And it displays the last picture as a preview. We can also change it. For example, we can tell it to show a different picture instead of this one. It has more options as well. We can work with it there. Well, by default, the picture is changeable. But it only shows us a picture when we've enabled these options here. If we turn it off again, it won't show the picture. It will just show its icon. This is done with the Photos app. It doesn't do this with Photos Legacy. Let's turn that off too. It won't show any picture. Alright, after this, we also have something else here called App Settings. When we go into App Settings, well, these settings are part of the system, just like the other main settings. There's not much difference. In the settings, it shows which content is published by which publisher. The software or the software developer is Microsoft Corporation. We come to version 2024, which is the latest version. Let's see what the size is. Which components are installed to some extent. Here it tells us whether it should be running in the background, for example. For instance, if we minimize a window, something can keep running in the background. Whenever we close this, we can check it out. It shows us the best usage, for example, which application is using how much battery. From this battery, we can see how much usage each application has. When we click, it becomes available to us. Here, it shows all the applications that are using resources. Actually, if we compare whether Photos Legacy uses more battery or Photos, we see that Photos uses very little. In terms of percentage, it uses 4% of the battery, whereas Photos Legacy uses 14% of the battery. One of the reasons, for example, that Microsoft recommends this one over that is exactly this. There are many reasons, because these are updated apps. What are updated applications usually like? They usually consume less battery. They work fast. They are smart. But the reason people use this one, as we said, is because we've gotten used to it and have worked with it for many years. That's why people download it, but over time, they also gradually stop using it. So, which application uses how much battery? We can get that information from there. As I mentioned earlier, we can set by double-clicking which application by default opens which photo in any of these apps. For example, whether it's on Windows 10 or Windows 11. And just like we did it from there before, we can also do it from here. The Set Default app asks us, default based on what? Based on email, maps, music, video, or photos. We say we want to set it based on photos. We click. Then a list opens up for me. We choose from the list. It says itself, if you are on Windows 10, you should select Photos. It suggests to you that Microsoft recommends you choose this option because it's better. What? Well, it's something updated. It's something that's currently available in Windows. But there's something that's old. It's only included because someone knows how to use it, so they've connected it too. But again, it's up to us. It doesn't mean we absolutely have to choose this one. We can choose this one too, whether you want to open it with Paint or if you want to open it with other programs. If you select Paint, then Paint will open it from now on. But usually, since Microsoft recommends the default, we generally choose the default. But it doesn't matter which one we pick, there's no problem with either. But from here, we can choose to do this. As I mentioned to you before, we go through Open with to set it. For example, sometimes if an application is stuck, it doesn't work. I had told you before that we go to the Task Manager section to terminate it. An application can be ended with End Task. You can also do your work from here. You can end the task. If there's ever a problem, you can click the Repair button. It checks it for you. It checks online to see what problem exists and fixes it. You can reset it if you want. No matter how many changes you've made, you can reset it. Then it will return to its normal state. The Uninstall button is disabled by Microsoft. Some applications that are related to system utilities or apps that are, for example, part of Windows itself. They are default pre-installed apps. Some of them can't be uninstalled. Just like on mobile. For example, you can't say you want to uninstall settings, but you can uninstall Facebook. You can uninstall third-party applications, so Photos is not considered a third-party app. You can't uninstall this, but if you want Photos Legacy, you can use it. That's because it's something we uninstall later on if needed or necessary. Also, it's something that has to be there, which is why we can't uninstall it. Now, if we right-click on Photos Legacy, it will stay open. Recent files, see, it shows uninstall automatically. Previously, it didn't show that. The good option is resize and the other things we did. We also mentioned that the border option doesn't work. When we go into settings, the settings are almost the same, just a few things are missing or different. One thing is that in the permissions section, it asks us, since this is a third-party application, which things you want to allow it to access, like whether it can use your camera or not, whether it can use your mic or not, whether it can check your contacts or not. For now, let's leave the folders as they are, since we have pictures, my videos, or for example, background apps, like it can check these folders, but we haven't given it permission for the camera and such. Whenever I'm in Zoom, without this permission, for example, if someone shouldn't see me or use and hear my voice. For example, you can keep these three things off for it. Because the Photos app wasn't showing the filter options. Because for third-party applications, for now, as I said, we've kept it off for them. The bit used topic is more advanced. It's even more advanced than the default. Terminate, reset, and the uninstall option are enabled here because we can reinstall these third-party applications again after uninstalling them. So, after this, what are we going to do together? I'll also explain the interface of this program to you. After opening it again, in the next videos, we'll work on its practical lessons. The interface is the appearance of programs, Paint and Paint 3D. This is similar. First, I'll explain Photos. Then, after that, I'll also talk about Photos Legacy, and later, we'll do the practical lessons from one of them or maybe both. Try to follow along as we open Photos together. When we open it, in this mode, Photo Organizer, Organizer, and Editor mode, here, we call this top part the title bar. This is called the application title, and this is called the application logo. We right-click. This activates the system's Alt plus Space plus C shortcut. I've already explained all its options to you before. There are other things in the title bar as well. For example, we have a search box, an import button, settings, and a control box. The control box contains those buttons. I've already told you about the caption buttons and the control box. This part is called the navigation pane. We can collapse or expand the navigation pane from here. We can also set its size from here. In Windows 11, it's shaped like this, with a deep shape. In other versions of Windows, it doesn't open like this at all. When you hover the cursor over something, a small window called a screen tip appears. Well, that's about it for this part. There's another mode in this viewer. In this viewer mode, when we click once, this viewer mode shows us that it stays on. That's right. This part, which is like the title bar, tells us it's in the title bar. This part is called the image title. The photo title. It's Photos. Only the name of the photo 33.jpg is shown. We mentioned earlier what JPG stands for. If we click next on each photo, these have changed. If the photo's name is Ahmad or Mahmoud, well, the photo's name will appear. So, it's all in the title bar. After this part, we have items. These are called items. There are buttons that are used for entering, and we have a control box. When you right-click, this is called a context menu. You can see your own cursor. A small window appears, which is called a screen tip. These are called control buttons. Next and previous, which we have here. At the very bottom, we have a toolbar called the status bar. For example, if we open Photoshop, let me also tell you about the interface. There really isn't much else. That's the same thing. In this part of the interface, it's the same. The top section is called the title bar or caption bar. Here, we have the application title. Here, we have the control box and caption buttons. These are called the tab bar. Each one is called a tab or a header. The whole thing is called the tab bar, the header bar, where we have different tabs. Another section we have here is an advertisement section. If you can hide it so that none of the advertisement section is shown. But if you turn it off, it shows on and off. Usually, the latest internet ads appear here if you're connected, and these ads often change and rotate. Microsoft suggests launching for you, but if you don't want it, you can turn it off so it doesn't make this suggestion. We act according to our duty. As we mentioned before, you can also upload all your data in various formats. One of its functions is to upload this to the cloud, and it also performs other tasks. Alright, so here we said, bring this cursor here, and the screen tip will open. If we want to open another mode of this again, let's open the viewer mode of this. We right-click. We go and open the viewer mode of this. That's about it. There are just a few changes. It has only brought these up and down buttons. It has lost the status bar, or maybe this is it. They call this the title bar. Inside the title bar, we have the image title, we have items, or it's related to items. We also have our control box. And the status bar is completely at the bottom. These are also control buttons, or the context menu, and something that appears when we move our cursor is called a screen tip. Well, that was the photo viewer program, or image viewer, which we introduced and worked with today. We also went over the differences between them. It showed that it updates. We worked on the ways to open it and its interface. Have a good day again. Inside it, we work on their lessons. And finally, I kindly ask you, dear friends, if you found the videos helpful, please like the videos to support us and help the channel grow, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.